legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and like always, our co-host, Gametime. Gametime. What a game indeed. How's it going after can you say 24 hours? But I guess 24 hours after the Dallas Cowboys hand the Patriots a nice defeat. How are you feeling now, 24 hours after the game?
Listen, it was the only outcome that would really make us happy, right? But just winning the game wasn't going to get it done this week after last week's, whatever you want to call it. We needed to come out and make a statement. And boy, did we. 38-3, Dallas Cowboys drubbed, handed Bill Belichick his worst loss ever as a professional football coach. You're welcome, Coach. You're welcome.
Yeah, you see these movies that happen like 7 or 23 where all these numbers are coming up and Bill Belichick a 28-3 whole thing halftime, like just those numbers coming up constantly with him and the teams. It kind of seems a little weird. But by halftime, man, they were really giving it to him and setting other records in the sense of the biggest deficit that Belichick's led team has ever been. And why? Because he's mostly a defensive coach. Even going back to the Parcells eras where he was the linebacker coach. I mean, a lot of that defense. So a lot of times scoring on them hasn't been the easiest thing, and then usually he has some kind of offense to go with it. We can all agree kind of that, the Patriots definitely are struggling to find their identity, and even with one or so turnovers, it kind of knocks them out of the game. Of course, when we talk about any type of schedule, we talk about you need to win the games that are in front of you. So when you look at this game, obviously me and you, it's easy to pick apart the stuff that they were doing wrong because there was a lot of sloppy stuff out there. Let's be real. We were kind of frustrated as you go. When you look back at it, you're like, they took on the next challenge. That's exactly what was happening. Something would happen. There was a blitz. Somebody wasn't picking up a blitz, or somebody wasn't catching it. Something was happening, and the next time that there was opportunity, somebody would have to step up. So that's what I caught from the game. You rewatching the game. What's your biggest take from the game itself?
There was a lot of opportunity there. Now, I don't understand, not much negative, but in the red zone, what I saw, Phil, a lot of the reasons why we're not successful in the red zone is just some of Dak's choices based on the coverage and just being unfortunate. Dak is playing great, but down in the red zone, sometimes he goes with his first read, like that pass to Schoonmaker. Now, Schoonmaker should have caught it, but if you look off to the right, Brandon Cooks is wide open. It was the second read, just like those two read option plays where he hands the ball off. If he keeps it, he walks into the end zone. That happened multiple times in the red zone, and my first instinct was, maybe he's trying to set up something for next week or down the road that, he's going to keep it. But if you think about it, what he should do is keep it now to then allow the defense to have to play wider than opening up the running lanes for your running back to run. So
I think
there's a lot of stupid stuff that's going on. Easily fixed.
Yeah.
Nothing to panic about.
When I look at that play, I think Glimmerman has pointed it out as well when it's been happening that there is no, we've been seeing this for a couple of weeks where they've been kind of setting this play up. What I don't like about the play is that you're putting Dak's back towards the defense, and so if you're going to give him an option type of thing, you're going to have to kind of change his footing or change the way he's turned. And it kind of changes what you're doing as well. So I have to agree with you. You have to at least keep it occasionally, because most of the time I've been seeing them crash down. I mean, there's always those zone defenses where they'll commit to those edges, but for the most part, you've been seeing a lot of defenses crash.
Yeah, and like I said, at first glance, I'm like, maybe they're setting something up, but you'd rather do it now and have Dak keep it that will then make the whole crashing of the defense less likely as much. They're not just going to be. They're not biting on anything. Like a lot of what Dallas is doing is they're like trying to bait a player and move a player. Like Dak's trying to move a player with his eyes to a certain spot. So far through the first 4 weeks, nobody's budging. Now I don't know if that's him not doing it long enough, or whatever, but things like that are easily corrected, and we're going to be good. But getting back to yesterday's game, that was the only result. Now, did I think we'd win 38-3? Obviously not. But, you know, they dominated from, I mean, we beat their butts from pillar to post, basically. We beat them up and down the field. The total yards doesn't indicate, and I want to get into that shortly. But yeah, man, what was your thought about it? We talked about it, watched it, but you know, it's not always easy watching it and broadcasting and then really watching it. So
one thing that I loved, and I think I had to focus on the defensive side of the ball. Where once this whole Diggs injury, once this whole Diggs injury, and I'm sorry, we'll get to the chat here. There's a lot. I've been popping them up and trying to get people's comments on there as well too. But when you look at the combination that you've had, Diggs, Gilmore, Bland, man, that is a crazy combination. Each one can really pick off the ball. And then you lose Diggs, and, you know, I felt confident in Bland going to that outside. Very, very confident. Obviously, Jordan Lewis coming back from an injury, somewhat of a concern, but again, he's a dog, and so he'll fight. So I, again, didn't test that. And then you have, of course, the newer guys kind of coming in, you know, the younger guys. And so I didn't feel terrible about the situation. But after that loss for Arizona, you know, that made you kind of like, okay, well, you know, he's a step behind, but, you know, what's going on there? And then all of a sudden he takes it. Bland comes out this week and just really kind of definitely dominates. Mac Jones, you know, definitely those problems that he has there in the sense of throwing across his body, across the field, definitely a no-no. He got away with it, and then Bland two or so plays later, he makes them pay for it. Now, when you look at that going forward, do you feel are you getting more confident with Bland on that outside, or are you know?
Yeah, I've been lighting up Ultra on. I lit him up last night. I lit him up, you know, after I did my recap. I lit him up today in my live, but I gave him credit with the Bland thing, man. So he had us losing yesterday, Ultra, right? Ultra, you thought we were winning 6 games. We ain't winning 6 games, but he is right, Bland. Give him credit, man. He played well on the outside. You know, he's really stepping up, and maybe he just needed to get a game under his belt, and that's cool. You know, we forget it was a perfect storm last week. You know, with Donovan Wilson, you know, basically playing once or twice in the whole preseason. You know, so.
Well, I mean, and so obviously the quick thing that Cowboy Nation is going to jump on is obviously, and Bland is Ultra's already saying it. Cowboys don't need to draft a corner, and you know you have your number 2. Yeah, I don't mind him being the number 2, but if I could keep Gilmore here, I think his flaw is obviously the trailing across the field, but that's a lot of it if the receiver is able to just go straight across. And then he tends to trail. I mean, he catches up if the quarterback doesn't go. I mean, I would say that's his weakness there. But I still want a guy like that here for the next year or two. And
you're not watching the game, Ultra? We ain't a tier below the Eagles. Come on.
No.
The Niners, maybe, not the Eagles.
Yes.
Come on.
But you know, when you also look at the rest of the defense, I mean, the pressure that you had. I mean, you're getting it from more than just Micah. Micah last week, you know, just. It feels like the offensive line, all it has to do is kind of make a fence.
What up, I-Rock?
And as they do their stunts and everything, you know, Micah just runs into that wall, and then it stops. So when they're able to start pushing guys and doing stunts and stuff like that, that's when they start getting crazy pressure. Now, Micah doesn't look like he had a whole lot. There was a lot of injury stuff happening, but when you look at it, he still had like 9 pressures. And going in, you know, that's what, like, that's his 8th... that's his 8th game with 5 or more pressures. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, even when it doesn't look like he's doing a whole lot, he's still affecting the game a whole hell of a lot. and Dante Fowler coming around that corner, of course, getting that strip sack, and then LVE scooping it up. So, I mean, great pressure by the defensive line and great job by the defensive tackles allowing the linebackers to run around. So, I mean, what did you think about the pressure that was getting up, the running game, all that? What did you think about the defensive line?
Oh, our defensive line played great. Mozzie Smith played the most snaps that he's played all year, and it showed. People, who don't know the game, are running their mouth about Mozzie. Mozzie's going to be fine. Mozzie's going to be better than fine. The way he played yesterday, it's a twofold thing between him and Hankins eating up the line. They're not there to get pressure. On certain downs, they will bring in their pressure guys. But they occupy the line, which allows the linebackers to flow. And you saw Leighton have a lot better game. Keep Mozzie in the damn game. He's young. He needs to play more. He played well. Our defensive line was very, very good. Once we got up, I think it was 18-3. It was over. It was just a matter of were we going to be able to shut him down, and we shut him down the whole game, Phil. We watched it. I watched it again.
Yeah,
it was even more impressive.
Well, when I look at the way that it was scored, of course, they're struggling with the red zone thing. You got that is something there. And I mean, there's at least you got some combinations of possible remedies for that, especially when it comes to goal line running, and we'll go into that here in a little bit. But when you look at the wide receivers, I think there's a lot of them. Every single one of them came through in their own way, and that's what we want to see from this group. Gallup had his thing. Tolbert had his thing at one point. I mean, I look at Tolbert, I think of him as that special teams guy that stopped them in their 10. Another play or so later, Dante Fowler comes up and hits that fumble, and then the 2-point conversion right there. That was a whole series of plays that Tolbert himself, as a wide receiver helping on special teams, was affecting. So I was liking the play from the wide receivers, and we talked about them needing to step up, and what a game they stepped up in.
Yeah, Tolbert. Look at Tolbert on special teams lighting people up. I really like, obviously I told you I love Tolbert. He's going to have a bright future. He's going to be fine. Michael Gallup stepped up. This is game number 2. I think we could safely say he's back. CD.
Tyler Smith. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, they were talking about Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith was a stud. He was amazing. He's just a beast. That dude is a beast. Yeah. But go ahead, continue. You were going.
No, it's all right.
I threw it off. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, it's fine.
But there was a lot of guys stepping up, and I liked, that even the offensive line, when you all of a sudden you started taking out Zach Martin, that came out. Then Hoffman came in there. So I mean, there was a combination of guys, and I mean even dang it, I'm slipping his name. Edoga, there you go. He did a good job against Judon. I was expecting definitely a bloodbath when it came to that side, and it wasn't like they were helping him a whole lot. But man, he was. I wonder a little bit on Judon's side. Was he hurt a little bit because there was no moves? It didn't seem like there was much movement. Like he wasn't trying to swim over him. He wasn't trying to do a whole lot of that. He was just trying to, that's not right. Judon. So that to me was like, what's he doing? So, I don't know if it was a better game by Edoga or if that was just a bad game by Judon. But, of course, they start getting injuries and stuff, and you don't wish that upon anybody. So that definitely affected the game. But even when they came in, even when they had Zappy come in, they were still doing their thing. So, again, a great win by them. And anything else in this game that points out that you want to bring up? The tight ends? I mean, how do you feel like the tight ends did?
Well, yeah. Well, your Schoonmaker, again, he needs to catch the ball.
There's another thing I want to talk about. I knew.
Yeah. I have
the running backs too, because okay, let's go up to the running back. We'll come back to the tight end. The running backs, like, I don't want to pull the plug on any kind of ideas about Deuce Vaughn in one game. Like, let's still get him some touches. Let's still get him out there, and let's see if we can use him and figure out a way to use him. Now, the Rico Dowdle thing, I got to ring this up because our number 2 guy gets a hip injury, which is something in his past that has been a big thing with him. Did we just lose our number 2?
No, it's a hip contusion, not what he had 2 years ago. He's going to be on the rehab group on Wednesday. He has a shot to play on Sunday, as well as Zach Martin. You saw him hobbling off the field with the ankle. Offensive line, that's going to be key for us coming down the stretch. So we're just going to have to manage Zach. It's an ankle thing. Zach played great. I was watching the replay. Do you know that play where the defensive guy tipped the ball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the tight end. Yeah.
Well, it was a defensive lineman.
Yeah, it was. Was it because I thought the defensive? I thought it was a linebacker that kind of came up and.
Yeah, maybe.
But he was up on the line. He was close to the line.
Zach Martin hit him so far.
Up in the air?
Him. Well, Zach Martin stoned him, and basically he had no other choice but he was rushing, and Zach Martin hit him, pushed him back, and then he put his hand
He was
up.
like, no, man.
So if Zach didn't hit him that good, it would have been a completion and probably a touchdown.
How dare you, Zach Martin, blocking so well?
Yeah, I know. But, they're saying, I don't know, the mystery Tyron Smith injury, he has a chance to play this week. Whatever. You know.
Was that what they were keeping him for? They were just holding him out for that? They had to pay him again. They bring him. It brings him down below the $15 million because it would have been $17 million if he would have gone all 17 games, and his number was $15 million originally. So if they keep it to 15 games, that's $15 million. Boom. I think that's, to me, it made more sense than all of a sudden,
Right.
he's all dressed up in the sideline. And everybody else was out. I don't know. It seemed, and you know how Cowboys are when it comes to injuries. They're not even truthful to themselves.
Yeah, Ultra Cowboy says they need to use Luke Schoonmaker down the seam. They haven't done much at 12 personnel using our tight ends that way. I would love to see it, but
I would actually like to see another tight end in here. Let's be real.
Yeah, well,
I like McKeon though.
They benched Peyton Hendershot because he keeps dropping the ball. So he wasn't active for the game. They elevated
McKeon. And look at him. He gets that fumble recovery.
Yeah.
By hustling.
That's another thing with Cavante Turpin. Cavante, got to hold on to the football, bro. This is the NFL. There's fast guys.
Oh, my gosh. Every single time.
Come back down. Yeah.
He's
had it.
He is so, in the 50-50 because, anytime he does something good, he follows it up with something bad. And it's almost immediately, too.
Yeah.
It's you can't get air hot
with him.
But as soon as you let him go, he's just going to tear it up. That's just how it's going to happen. I'm just come on, man. Can we focus?
Mark Hudson. It was Parsons' knee and leg. He's all right.
Yeah,
they said fine.
Yeah, exactly. Nice save on the fumble. But no, man. When I look back at it, I'm very happy with the overall. Obviously, game coaching, the way that they did it. There were some instances where, you're not really sure what they're thinking, but I don't know, man. If it's setting something up for later, sometimes that's what it is. I will try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but one thing that I do get excited about is the fact that this wasn't a complete game. To me, it was like a 65% game where your defense was doing great, your offense was and then some plays here and there you were doing well, but look at the final score. So if you put everything together, what can really happen? That's the truth.
Yeah, I agree. Just looking at look at what we've given up. You figure the first game of the year we won 40-0, right? And then we won. What was the second game? Who did we play week 2? We
played Jets.
We won 30-10 against the Jets. I think it was 30-10. Week 3 we gave up. So we gave up a 28 last week. So that's 38. So we gave up a total of 41 points through 4 games. So we're averaging 10 points a game. So,
And then how
I'll
many
put them
score?
behind the 2 NFC teams just because of the record. But the way Eagles are playing, we beat them. If Eagles are going to play better than how they've been playing, if they're going to beat us, that's just the bottom line. Niners are rolling. So
yeah, they are.
We're going to get their Niners at their best. No excuses. No excuses. And I think we got a shot. So, but yeah, just looking at some of the total offense, the score doesn't really indicate, but they got a lot of yardage late. Mac Jones was 12 for 21 for 150 and 2 INTs
and a fumble.
And a fumble. Yeah.
And Zeke, tell me Zeke's threats, because really, I got that talk, with work, and I think it's funny because he goes, hey, I think he's gonna have a great big game. And I said, yeah, statistically, when Dallas Cowboys running backs come back to Dallas, it's never a pretty game for them. I said, but if I could see if anyone is going to have some success, I would see it being Zeke, especially with, where he's at. And I guess I was definitely proven right in one
What's up,
category,
Brad Harris?
but not in that category. Oh, yeah. But anyways, what was the stats there? Do you see it?
Yeah, I have right here. Well, Zeke had 6 carries for 16 yards, and he had the first one, which was 9 yards.
Yeah, 9 yards.
We basically shut him down. They should have given it to him more.
Yeah, they should.
Stevenson had 14 for 30. So that just goes to show you. You saw what they did to that vaunted Eagles defense. Mac Jones threw for about 350 yards. Was going up and down the field against the Eagles. So, again, stop it with the,
they ain't
shout
nothing.
out to the
They're not
Eagles.
nothing.
They're winning the games. But if you're talking about, playing, Dallas has been blowing people's doors off. They didn't show up last week. That's a knock on them, and that could hurt them down the road. We got to stop that. We need to come to play.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. The Jets,
right, Brad, I got
the
you,
Jets
bro.
gave the Kansas City Chiefs like this hell last night. So Kansas City just sucks. Is that what it is, or the Jets all of a sudden good again? Is that what's going on? Like, what I'm saying? Like,
the media is gonna say whatever, and
Yeah.
if I heard what Rodney Harrison said after the game, and shout out to Jones, the Kansas City lineman who held out.
Chris Jones.
Yeah, shout out to him. He really
He
had a lot
avoided
of
the
plays.
question,
If anybody watched the game last night,
the question.
the quarterback for the Jets was not the problem. He
Oh
played
no,
very
he played
well.
really well. Yeah.
Other than the fumble, the fumble snap which killed him.
I question that late flag. I think it was past.
happens.
I think
That
there
flag
was
was
some.
ridiculous.
I think that was a penalty, but I think it was just so lately called. You can't have your arm over the shoulder, and even if the receiver went under, I don't know, man. It looked like holding.
Yeah.
So
it may have been,
but just really late.
But the way they were calling it,
Yeah.
see, that's my thing. You establish early in the game how you're calling the game. Unfortunately, last week they called everything, and then they picked up the one in the end zone. That's what was so. And I'm not trying to go backwards, but it all comes down to you have to establish, the officials. How are they? Who's working the game? Do they call a lot of penalties? It's just ridiculous when you watch a game. Even the Eagle game, Washington
they
was
want their
getting lucky
TV time.
and getting bailed out with the stupid penalties. You're giving them a first down. The Eagles the game. I know they were losing, but it didn't seem like the Eagles were ever in doubt. I know that sounds weird, but
No, it's true. It's true.
the Commanders were getting lucky with like a lot of those.
I mean, the
penalties.
last second touchdown. It happened, but still, it's.
It is what it is. It's about the Cowboys, but I'm just going to keep it 100.
No. I mean, we're talking about people that we have to go against in the playoffs. I mean, this is to be real. I mean, look, if you look at Tampa Bay. I mean, again, I'm surprised Tampa Bay in the way that they've kind of snuck out some of those victories.
Back.
Baker Mayfield's not playing terrible. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's going to game changer or anything like that. But again, he's managing the game, so. That's what you can ask. I thought Derek Carr were going to be doing better with the Saints, and that's just God. Yeah,
it's bad. But Jake Ferguson had a good game yesterday. He had
Damone Clark,
he had 7 targets. He had 7 receptions for 77 yards. He had a real good catch.
It was Fergalicious.
He was Fergalicious. Yeah, that was good. CD moderate. 4 receptions for 36 yards and a TD, but. Shout out to Dak. The one time they did single him up, he got a touchdown. Excuse me. But, they won't have too much of that. But, all in all, it was really good. And on to the next. I was listening to a little bit of Brian Schottenheimer's interview after the game, and finally, we could see and expect more Hunter Lepke at the goal line, it seems like. I'm kind of digging that.
Yeah.
I like that. So.
Well, I mean, again, it's one of those situations where they're going to have Monday Night Football here. What is the two teams? It wasn't even
Well, tonight, the Giants in Seattle.
Giants, that's right. Okay, so that's something to watch.
Deron Bland, we got to touch on Deron Bland, man. Deron Bland had a great game. We talked to him a little bit.
Dude, he should have had like 4 interceptions if you look at some of the way he was playing. But hey, I'll take half. Give me the 50-50 ball, and he walks away with a pick, and still gets his hands on the other ones. He was on fire last night. He definitely was.
Yeah,
I say last night, but it was afternoon.
Cowboy. Damone had a great game, Ultra. He did. I think a lot of that has to do with
the offensive line.
Yeah, the defensive line and being able to float the ball. He was in the backfield a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's another guy that I saw flash, and I've been kind of rough on him lately, was Sam Williams. Welcome, Sam Williams. Welcome to the show. You
Even
had a
Gallimore,
good game, buddy.
Gallimore was like, I don't know. There was one snap where he just like was in the backfield before the quarter.
You're gonna need everybody.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You're gonna need them all. So it's like we need people to step up. So, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Did you see Ultra? Did you see Stafford limping off the field? We'll see, man. We'll see.
So anyways, great victory. Good redemption from what they did the previous week. We will not forget, though. Again, we will not forget. Anytime these guys can poke their little heads out this hole and show their ugly faces. So remember that, if they can even get halfway. I mean, I feel like there was like a half thing. I mean, the defense obviously had it pretty turned on, but they weren't, again, getting crazy pressure on the quarterback either. So, I mean, there is, again, a lot to improve on, but even the linebacker situation, there was times where even that LVE, he had some really good spots in there where he played and he was in position, but then it's when he wraps up to make that tackle, he's more kind of bringing the guy down to the ground instead of tackling him. I know there's a difference. I can't explain it, but there's a difference between he hits them with full force compared to just kind of bringing them down to the ground. And I kind of feel that's where he's at.
Deal.
Yeah, his
Shout
neck.
Out to
his
you
neck.
know the deal, buddy. Thanks for joining the show. Don't remember seeing you here before.
Yeah, welcome. But yeah, you are
the
correct.
White Zeke in the red zone. Listen, man. I just think we need to identify some roles.
I feel. He goes. Do y'all? Mark says, do y'all feel comfortable with your season predictions, record prediction? I feel really good.
Yeah.
I feel really good about it.
Yep.
I mean, I could see they could improve on what I said, but I definitely see us as a 12-win team.
Yeah. Well, I had us at 13, but we need to make up a game somewhere.
I had us at 13 as well.
So, but we need. I think 12 is definite. But we have to make up for last week. So if we
again, that's where I had the Jets. So I had to
make up.
So I had us losing to the Jets, and then we lose to Arizona. So it kind of balanced.
Yeah.
And I had us, so yeah, it's
My
kind of falling into
prediction
place.
Before training camp was 12. So
the Dick things made me think for a second, though. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, obviously, listen, man, it's arguably one of the best corners in the league. He's top 3, top 5. Hey, Elena, how are you?
Ultra, that's what I was asking about yesterday. See, as Ram knows how to draft slot receivers from Cup to Puka. But my whole thing is, again, is it more that Stafford gets fixated? His whole thing is that even in Detroit, he gets fixated with the wide receiver, and that's who he goes to. And it's an obsession. He's not going any other way. He's not looking any other way. So you can't tell me that they only scheme that offense to get one person open, and he happens to be in that spot every time. Soon as Cooper Kupp, because before Cooper Kupp, who was their other wide receiver? Nobody. It was always just, he gets 20 attempts, and it's kind of ridiculous.
They had Brandon Cooks, they had Woods.
That's true, but that's the occasional other receiver that they would throw to as well. But it's just, to me, I think he gets extremely fixated. So that's where, when I saw that in that first game after Kupp went down and I saw him, I was like, grab him on fantasy because it looks like he's going to be fixated. And that's exactly what's happened. I mean, he's setting NFL records with the most receptions within the first 3 or 4 games of an NFL wide receiver's career. So, I mean, that's not really surprising at all. So I could definitely see him, because I had a friend that was telling me about the running back from Miami, looking impressive, definitely scoring a lot of touchdowns, and he's talking about him being the rookie of the year. And I said, well, if the whole team is scoring touchdowns and that rookie, it's not as impressive. But what the Rams receiver is doing, they're not winning all these games all impressively. So that's pretty impressive. So I said that 17 times.
No. I mean, it's true, though. I mean, it'll be an interesting game, the Eagles at the Rams, and we'll break it all down at our preview show on Friday or Saturday. I think it's Saturday. Sorry, I'm tired, people. But, yeah, it'll be Saturday, I would think, and we'll break all the games down. But, yeah, all in all, it was a great win for the Cowboys. It's what we needed. Anything short of this, honestly, would have been okay. Like if we would have won like 24-14, or, my score was a little bit bigger. I think I had 27-20 as the final, but I had us up like 27-13 with a junk score. So that was way better than I thought. Our defense, and Ultra says it, this next game is going to show us a lot. I would say this next stretch, this is not our hardest stretch of the year.
But it's got some challenges, yeah.
We play the Niners, then we go back to the same, we go to L.A. and we play the Chargers. Then we come home against the Rams. Those 3 games, not so much the Rams, but the next 2 games are going to show us a lot. I think if we split, that's great. If we win both, then we're coming for you, because that would be unbelievable. Like I said, we're going to learn a lot about the Cowboys. I think this is a game, Phil, on Sunday night. The Dallas needs
drag it out.
If like tiebreakers, I know it's early, but this all goes into it. If we're tied, you want to play the Niners at home. You just do. We've won now 10 in a row at home. That stadium was rocking, even with a lot of Patriots fans there. It was loud, and we've won 10 in a row. We actually have a home field advantage. What up, Lord Nova? For tiebreakers, if we lose on Sunday night, then then
you got to turn around and already have the better record. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I would agree with you. I would agree with you, definitely.
If we win this game, then we are looking really good, and we're right on track to where we thought. If we lose, we'll see how they lose, but I think we can win, people. I think we're going to win the game. I'm telling you. Just one more quick stat. On Sunday Night Football, through the first 3 weeks,
Mark.
The road team has won every game.
Okay.
So the first 3 weeks, the road team has won. So we are going on the road. So let's go, baby. We could do it.
All right. Well, enjoy the victory for the next 24 hours. I know some of these guys are not going to be enjoying this. They're already looking forward, probably just like a lot of these Cowboy guys waking up this morning already looking forward
to last week, obviously.
So it's going to be a hell of a test, and obviously we'll come back here and talk about it. You're going to be doing stuff through the week. Of course, Brian's lunch chat that he has. But yeah, definitely check it.
It was rocking today, man. I couldn't keep up, man.
That thing starts going.
Well, and I only had 30 minutes, and I was at 32, and I was finally it was over 30 people in there. I'm like, I'm out.
I gotta go. All right, man. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Nah, man. We just let's celebrate the win, man. These wins are hard to come by, especially against Bill Belichick. But I will say this: Dak Prescott puts a whooping on Bill Belichick's ass. So, just like the Eagles. Yeah, he does. He owns himself some Bill Belichick. Very happy with the win. Very happy with a lot of things that we saw. Big game coming up, and we'll talk about it this weekend. So, let's go, man. Let's go, Cowboys.
Yeah, enjoy again. Kind of like different from the last week, where you had to go into work, and it just made the last week just kind of drag a little bit. Feels like it was raining a little bit more last week. I don't know, man.
It's funny, Phil. My reaction video last week it's got like almost 700 views.
Oh yeah,
my reaction video from this week
120 years.
It's probably like 200 or something. But yeah,
people like our misery. People like our misery. That's just how it
146.
Works.
Last week it was 652. So that tells me, where you at, people? We
Yeah.
win, you don't watch. That's what I'm saying. It's frauds, people. Frauds.
Yeah, they love that misery, and they don't forget to click over when we're losing. But one thing I love that you don't forget to do is do what?
You gonna ring that bell?
Yes. Thank you very much, guys. You guys take care, and we'll see you later.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here,
Cool name. Superpowers?
broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you gonna tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, Gametime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.